Alright, you guys, welcome back to some more Hapymaher. Last episode was quite interesting. We had, some nice heartfelt conversations with Hirasaka. And then we got to school. We were told she's acting a little bit differently. Complete personality change. Nobody around her seems to think that that's weird. And just me and Saki are left in confusion. So we're going to go ahead and continue on and see if maybe we get some answers to that. No idea what's going on. I sighed in relief at the boiling water in the flask and the smell of instant coffee.
ふーん、そんなことになってたのね。いや、それはトールじゃなくても疲れるわ。
I don't think it would tire you out if you didn't notice that was strange, though.
さきちゃんもよく頑張ったわね。そんなんで半日落ち着かなかったでしょ。
ええ、まあ最初はいいことでもあったのかなくらいに思ってたんですけど。
I mean, you could assume that, I guess, and I would be happy for her if something did happen that was good. But it almost sounded like her voice was completely different. I don't know if she's just because she's talking differently, at least she sounded like a whole new person. The personality changed, the voice. It just wasn't Hirasaka. Couldn't you tell that wasn't the case right away? And then, not to mention the fact that everyone around her was just a complete 180 from ignoring her to suddenly liking her. I sipped at my coffee, black. Right now, I wanted the smell more than the taste.
そうね。そういえば兄さんはさっきからそんな意味深なことを言ってたけど、何に私が気づいてないっていうの？
Didn't you notice Oh no. Oh no. So I had a theory that maybe we're dreaming because we didn't dream last night and things were going too well. Maybe we're in a dream and we don't even know it. Didn't you notice the smell? There's always a smell in these dreams.
匂い？何よそれ。トールって匂いフェチだったっけ？
Okay, can you stay on topic here? That's not what we were talking about. Putting the issue of whether I have a fetish or not aside for the moment, Saki, you didn't sense anything from
平
Hirasaka.
坂さんとか周りの様子がおかしい以外はいつも通りだったと思うけど。
Okay, you didn't notice anything. Just I thought it's the same here.
だから、匂いが何なのよ。気になるからもったいぶらないで説明しなさいよ。
From Hirasaka, I could smell the same scent that I smelled in the dream. The two of them reacted to the words, the dream.
兄さん、それってどういう意味？
But what is this implying? Is it implying that we are in a dream? Which I think if that was the case, we would smell that all around, right? Like that would be probably wherever we go. We've had no indication other than Hirasaka and everyone around her being weird that we're in a dream. Usually we see flowers, right? Usually there's some sign that something's off. And so far that's been the only thing. And then she has a smell on her. So is this implying that she's being influenced in some way by the dream in reality? I'm not sure what they're alluding to. I mean, what I said, I could smell the sweet scent that's emitted from what Alice calls nightmare flowers when they bloom coming out of that classroom. The smell of roasted honey, sweet pastries, and deep forest. The slightly smoldering toasted smell was stronger and the forest smell was weak, but the smell had definitely been filling the
さ
classroom.
きちゃん、そういうの気づいてた？
いいえ、全然。というか、夢の中でも変わった匂いなんて覚えてないんだけど。
私はうっすらと。多分、トールと二人きりの時にしてたかなくらいなんだけど、あれよね。
I don't know, does that mean certain characters have more of like a sensitivity towards it? Pretty much, it was a bit different from the time I was with you though, Club Prez. I tried not to remember that time and sipped another mouthful of coffee.
つまり稽古とはあんな風になるわけじゃないっぽいのね。
あんな風って何ですか、兄さん？
Saki's voice was a little ominous. It has to do with that nightmare and it's over, so I'd prefer if you don't worry about it right now. Hirasaka's more important, right?
そうね。というか、トールの言葉を信じるなら、私の時よりももっとひどいことになってると思うんだけど。
I don't know, is this what happens when you get sucked into the dream when you don't wake up? Club Prez reached out and touched the rim of my glasses. What are you doing?
こっちの起きてる時のトールはメガネしてるのねと思って。 夢では絶対にかけてないでしょ？
Don't think that we do now. Right.
そのトールの感覚を信じるならだけど、こっちって起きてる世界ってことでしょ？なのに稽古からはそのトールが夢の中でしか嗅いでない甘い匂いがして様子が変わってた。
Yeah, there's
結構まずい状況なんじゃない？
definitely something going on here for sure. And I'm not, I mean, I have my theories, but I'm not quite too sure. Helper's tone of voice sounded so normal that it was hard to feel much weight from her words, but I was thinking the same thing.
まさか夢がこっちに影響を与えてるとかいう気ですか？
Okay, is that what's going on? Am I right?
影響ならずっと与えてたでしょ？まあ、これは今までに比べると全然シャレになってないけど。
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I think I recall kind of theorizing that something like this might happen early on in the game. I did mention there was going to be a point where reality and dreams were going to seem so similar that we weren't going to be able to tell the difference. I think that we're starting to get to that point. I think that's slowly starting to happen a little bit. Very reminiscent of a movie like Inception. You know, it's really hard to tell when something looks so similar and feels so right, whether it's actually real or not. He's okay, I want to check something with you. Back there were people around Hirasaka she called her friends, right?
いつの間にかあんなに仲良くというか取り巻きみたいになっていたけど。
Apparently Saki didn't like that sort of relationship because she used the word entourage without hesitation. What were they like before? Their names or personalities, what are they usually like?
まずは兄さんとの関係を聞いた人ですけど。
Saki said that much, but then she couldn't continue.
あれなんで平坂さんともともと仲が良かった？そんなわけが。
Are your memories starting to get mixed up?
ちょっと何それ、怖いんだけど。さきちゃん、からかってるわけじゃないわよね。
So, we kind of know things are a lot different in the dream world. I'm wondering if reality is kind of being changed to accommodate whatever, you know, the dream's supposed to be. So if she's supposed to be popular and supposed to have good friends around her, everyone else's memories and reality is going to start getting rewritten to always think it was like that. It was always that way.
私だって冗談でこんなこと言いたくないです。だけど平坂さんともともと仲が良かったはずなんです。
Lucky seemed to find this strange as she repeated this several times as though she was ascertaining it. But you feel a sense of strangeness about that, just as I thought.
兄さん、やっぱりって何か心当たりがあったんですか？
Back there, when I was talking to Hirasaka, I got a bad premonition and snapped my fingers. Did you notice?
兄さんの癖だからって思ってたんだけど、何したんですか？
When I did that for a moment, her entourage stopped looking human. Okay, now we're getting into it. This is interesting. So, dreams are slipping into reality, or reality slipping into dreams. I don't know. I imagine this was like a dream like before. Imagine this was a dream like before, and I imagined destroying the nightmares around me. Were the faint figures I thought I saw for a second just an illusion. I wanted to think so. But it didn't look like I'd be able to think that for much longer.
見間違いとかじゃなくて？
You know, we see a lot of things, but I don't think that's one of them that we should be doubting. I was pretty focused, so it's possible that the shadow of a will looked like a ghost. Of course, it's also possible that wasn't the case. I think that's the logical explanation, to think that this has something to do with the dreams. Either we are in a dream, or dreams have slipped into reality and are influencing what we know. The press stood up, moved around behind me, and gently put her hand on my shoulder.
あなた疲れてるのよ。
For the record, you sound like a sci-fi drama I saw a long time ago. Also, I hope that's the case
だ
too.
ってトールたちと同じ夢見てるってだけでも眉唾なのに、その上その夢が現実にまで侵食してるだなんて。信じたくないわ。
Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna make a prediction about what's gonna kind of happen from here. I think we're gonna slowly start seeing the world around us going to shit is what's gonna happen. Things are just gonna start popping in, dreams are gonna start happening, and we're gonna have to like kind of unwind that. And I think if Alice is a real person, we're gonna start seeing something happen with that. Or if she's not, if she's truly just lives in dreams and is helping us, I think she's gonna manifest herself into reality. So I think either way, we're gonna see Alice somewhat soon. I'm not too sure. I think because dreams are starting to encroach into reality. Okay, I'm just going based on the assumption that's what's happening. We are in, this is real life right now. We're not dreaming. And things are starting to happen that should be dreams, and we're like mixing the two. So I think we're gonna start seeing things really pick up here.
本気で疲れたため息ですね、それ。
私の今まで生きてきた世界にはトールとは違ってファンタジーはなかったのよ。
It's true that I've lived about half my life in a fantasy-like
それ
world.
をこっちに持ち込まないでちょうだい。
It's not my fault. Probably.
兄さん、自信がないのね。とはいえ、弥生先輩、さすがに兄さんだけのせいじゃないと思うんですけど。
まあね。とりあえず何がどうであれ、今のところの影響は稽古が調子乗ってるだけだし。
Certainly Hirasaka had only got more sociable. Simply put, that was the only effect the dream was having on reality. It may have been that I just thought I saw one of those extras because of my experiences with dreams. Even with the smell, maybe it was just someone's perfume or pastry that Saki was used to, and I wasn't. I don't like how he's doubting himself right now. I feel like he has more than enough information and more than enough experiences to tell him that something's wrong here, that he should assume the worst. And he's kind of trying to doubt himself. He's trying to doubt what he's seen and experienced firsthand. And I don't think he should be doing that, because I think he's going to be not properly prepared, maybe for what's going to happen next.
不愛想が愛想よくなったんだし、むしろプラスってことで放置するのはどうかしら。
Because that's not how that works. It's not an overnight thing. I could see over time someone doing that. But we have experiences that tell us differently. We just saw that people were ignoring her yesterday, and now all of a sudden people are crowding around her and she's super happy and bright. She's a completely different person. That doesn't happen overnight. You can usually see signs that someone's faking it or putting on airs, and she's just completely different. Like, that's not
稽
possible.
古もトールに女にされて心機一転生まれ変わってみただけなのよ。問題ないわ。
Oh my gosh, I did not do any such thing. Okay, let's not go into that. Told you we didn't do that. And Saki, I saw you react to that. Yeah, she's freaking about to kill me. Saki's blood thirst was quite pronounced. Yeah, I could see it on her face. Even if it was just on the surface or act like some people put on. If Hirasaka wanted to do that, then I think that'd be fine.
なんか私、トールの言葉にトゲを感じるわ。
奇遇ですね。私もです。
If she's doing this on purpose, then that's fine. But if it isn't Hirasaka's doing, for example, if it's a result of Maya doing something bad again,
それ、自業自得でしょ。
interrupting my words, Club Prez rejected my insinuation.
望んだのは望みがあったから。たとえ眉に引き抜かされたとしても、選んだのも負けたのも稽古だわ。
Okay. I kind of see this conversation going in the direction of, well, this is what she wanted. She got tempted, she chose and lost, or you could even say she won because now she has what she wanted, right? She wanted to be more popular and have people around her, and maybe that was an inner desire she had, and now she has it, right? So I think the way this conversation might tread towards is, why should we stop anything? Why should we look into this more? Because she's happy, right? Why would we want to deny her the thing that she wanted? This is clearly what she wanted. Maya is only supposed to give us what we truly want down deep inside, right? And I think that's pretty dangerous to allow thoughts like that to occur. I think it's okay to have that thought maybe temporarily, but it's important that we remember that ultimately dreams are not real. And if they start seeking into reality, are those real either? I wouldn't say they are. I feel like she, like I said, is a completely different person. And if you really become such a different person, you don't even recognize yourself. Are you really even you anymore? I think change is a good thing for a lot of people, right? You shouldn't seek to just stay the same person you are forever, but you should seek to improve, and that should be a gradual change, not something that happens instantly, because that just feels forced to me. Because Maya tricks people with their desires and tries to make people submit.
そうね。それで私もさきちゃんもトールに助けてもらったわ。それは感謝してるし、もしもそうじゃなくても自分のせいだったとは思うわ。
Okay, I'm gonna be really happy if it doesn't go in the direction I just kind of thought it was, where I was kind of assuming they would maybe start trying to justify what's going on, when we need to be very careful of not doing that. Abraza's voice sounded a little too stern to call it her
だけ
usual
どそれ
tone.
は私たちがこっちでトールと友達だったから助けてもらえた。そのためのつながりがもともとあった。あの子が私たちの知らないところでマイヤに負けたとしても、トールが気に病む必要はないって言ってるのよ。
Clippers and Saki were saved because I helped them. I helped them because we had such a close relationship. Hirasaka wouldn't be saved because we hadn't forged a relationship that would make me want to help her.
人に頼らず、無関心でいて、結局甘い夢に負けて、それが自業自得以外の何だって言うの？
I don't know. I don't agree. And maybe we're gonna talk through this some more here in a second. I think we've actually become quite close to her, and maybe I'm just saying that because I've talked a lot about how I feel about our conversations, and I feel like personally I'm getting closer to her character. So I would say if I'm feeling that way, I would assume also that Toru is feeling the same way as well. I wouldn't say we're as close to her as maybe we are to some of the other girls. Sure, I'll give you that. But I do think we've grown close enough to her that I would care if something happened to her, and we kind of built that relationship based on that. We cared enough to not let her just be out in the street in the dark. We invited her back to our place and tried to, give her shelter and let her sleep, and, until she could get back into her house. I don't know. I don't really quite agree. I think we have forged a relationship already that would make us want to help her, and especially because she's involved in all of this already. I think everybody that's been in our dreams so far we've cared about enough that they've been able to show up there, and that's why it's kind of dangerous that they do that. I don't know. I want to keep reading. Maybe they'll have some more thoughts on it. I can understand what you're saying, Club Press.
兄さん、それじゃあ平坂さんが悪いって言うの？
I mean, ultimately, she makes her own decisions, right? Like, she could have went into a dream and gave into it, right? I wouldn't put that blame on us. But I'm just saying, I don't think that we should, I just don't think we should disregard it and say we don't care. Or that we weren't close enough to her to have done something about it. Yes, it's a person's own fault if they lose to dreams. You saw that when I did it, right? Whose fault was that? It was mine. I couldn't tell if Saki was angry at a loss for words. She looked at me trembling. But Club Prez, I think it's necessary to wake up the person who did something bad. Even if you have to slap them awake so you can tell them it's your fault.
やっぱりトールってばそう来るのね。
Okay. I do kind of like his follow-up here about it being necessary to wake up the person who did something bad. Just because someone makes a mistake doesn't mean we can't remind them that it is a mistake, right? There's a lot of people who play a lot of mind games and convince themselves that they're doing something right when maybe they're doing something wrong. I mean, let's just use drugs, for example. Maybe they think they're happy and that's the only way they can live now because they've been doing it for a certain amount of time. They feel like they've crossed a threshold where they can't come back. I don't think that we should just suddenly accept that they do drugs and that they like to think that they're happy and then that's what's gonna help them. And I'm talking about, like hard stuff. I'm talking about the stuff that you end up on the street because you can't hold a job, you're mentally not at your full capacity. I'm talking about the hard stuff that destroys your life, okay? I don't think that because they've done it for so long and they think they've crossed a threshold where they can't come back, that we shouldn't remind them that they made a mistake and that they can try to fix it, that there's options. um I don't necessarily think we should just be so outright as to say it's your fault, but ultimately people are the ones that make the decisions to do something. So if they made a decision to try something in the first place that ultimately ended up destroying their lives, yeah, it is their fault, right? It is their responsibility to control what they do. That doesn't mean we shouldn't help them. Sorry, I'm talking a lot this episode. I do apologize. I know you guys like hearing my thoughts. I just sometimes think I get too into it, and maybe I'm like getting off topic. I'm just really trying to thoroughly explain what I feel and kind of where I'm coming from. Leopard's dropped the stir in front and suddenly looked tired. I'm able to be here because Saki slapped me awake. I smiled wryly. Saki looked like she still didn't understand what Klepras and I were getting at. Need a breath. I was talking a lot. So I'm gonna go slap Hirasaka awake, because I'm pissed. Gosh, we sound like John Wick now.
いいじゃない。愛想良くなってんだし、そのままにしておけば。
Right here. This is what I was worried about. Is accepting that she's in a good place and just, why worry about consequences? She's happy now. She's got what she wants. So why should we bother? That's where it starts. When people start accepting small things, and you can apply this to so much more than just this situation. You can apply this to things in reality. Oh, I'll accept this. It's not that bad. I'm only getting screwed over this much. It could have been worse, right? You start accepting those small things and they just become bigger. I can't do that. Besides, if you want to tell her be more sociable, you're cute when you smile, then I'd still have to drag her from that dream, right?
笑えば可愛いか。なるほど。トールってばそこに負けたか。確かに可愛い子は助けたくなるものね。
I won't deny that Toru does have a tendency to do something like that. But I do think he's coming from a good place. I don't think it's just to be the hero and have all the girls look up to him. That's part of it, but I'm also responsible for her getting involved in the dream and for this weird stuff happening. And that's true as well.
兄さん、おせっかいの上に面食いだものね。知ってたけど。
I already knew that. I'll just go ahead and admit that much. Saki heaved a sigh. Then again, I think I would have gone to save her even if she wasn't a girl. Our dream sharing aside, Maya at least was definitely my responsibility. And if she wasn't involved, then that was fine too. So Klepras, please give me some sleeping pills. You still have some, don't you?
しょうがないわね。
You know how I was just comparing drugs to how bad this situation is? And then here he goes saying, can I have some sleeping pills? Yeah, look, it's literally in a medication bottle. Oh my gosh. A fish fished around in her uniform pocket before taking out a bottle with pills in it. Guys, don't not go to a doctor, okay? Go through a doctor, be prescribed things, talk to your doctor about the effects it's having. Do not take some random pills that your classmate or somebody is giving you. Don't think that's a good idea. And she handed me two.
匂い変えちゃダメよ。
And yes, don't do that, okay? Shut up. I swallowed them and stood up. Saki raised her voice in an ah next to me and I paid it no heed. Well then, here I go.
兄さん、無理しちゃダメよ。
I feel like him taking the pills is how he gets into the Matrix. I won't. Despite my answer, Saki still looked worried. She really didn't trust me.
トールもほんと物好きよね。
You knew that much already, didn't you? Klepras gave her a resigned smile and sent me off. Well, things certainly are getting interesting. I'll say that. Are we dreaming yet? Not feeling well, so please let me lie me down. That was all I needed to say to bar an infirmary bed. At times like this at school, knowing about my illness made things easy. Plus, I was treated as someone who had a mental illness that had to do with sleep. There was no reason for them not to let me lie down. Not that it helped. Nevertheless, I had safely secured a bed. Looked like Hirasaka was awake, so I didn't know if she would be in the dream world, but I still got the feeling I'd be able to find something out if I went. It's possible this was all just a product of my anxieties, so when this was over, I was going to pay a visit to the hospital again. With that thought, I closed my eyes. He's going to visit the hospital again. I wonder if that's where we'll see Alice. I still do have a firm belief that maybe she's in a coma or something. I landed on my feet in the dream room. As always, I heard the doors close behind me. I was still curious about whether I'd be able to go back if I opened the doors before they closed, but today I had something more important to do.
あれどうしたのトールそっちまだお昼じゃないの
Alice was there, as she always was when I came here. I was worried about whether she was ever awake. See, even he's worried about her being in a coma. I didn't think you'd worry about me like that. It's not like you have exams or anything.
そうだけどねいやだってお昼はみんな来てくれないって思ってたから
Alice clapped her hands
あ
happily.
れもしかしてトールこれからちょくちょくこっちに来られるのかな私と遊んでくれるの
No, I'm not here to play with you, okay? I can't sleep that much during the day. I'm here because I have something to do.
だよねそうだと思ったけど一人だと寂しいから時々はお昼も来てほしいな
How about we figure what's going on with you and help you return back to the realm of reality, not dreams? Make do with nights only. More importantly, Alice.
はいはい用事があったんだっけ私に何を聞きたいのかな
You remember Hirasaka from before, right? She's not, like, in this world or anything, is she?
稽古来てるかも
What do you mean she might be here? Alice confirmed that casually. Eh? She's here?
そうだけどなんで驚くの稽古に会いに来たんじゃないの
Yes? Yeah, but I'm pretty sure she's awake right now. With an eh? Alice put on a sour face.
何それいやだって昨日からこっちにいるっぽいんだけどほらあれとか置きっぱなしだしね
I looked where Alice pointed and saw Hirasaka's guitar in the place she'd been sitting before. I wouldn't be able to tell if there was any minor differences, but it looked like the same guitar of Hirasaka's I'd seen several times. So she's not here.
というか昨日もほとんど話してないしそのギターを置いてその扉からどっか行っちゃったみたいなんだけど
Alice bit into a scone.
それで稽古が起きてるってどういうことトールもよく見ればなんか不機嫌みたいだし何があったの
Oh boy, things are worse than I thought. Even though I was awake, I smelled those flowers. Alice dropped the scone she was holding.
何それ起きてたんだよねどこで勘違いじゃないの
I don't know, maybe it was a misunderstanding on my part, but I smelled it when I was beside the awake
け
Hirasaka.
どあの子多分こっちにいるままだし何がどうなってるの
Yes, you see, Alice, why? There's a problem here. I don't know, that's why I came even though it's daytime. So you said Hirasaka isn't here, but you can tell she's in this world, right?
なんとなくだけど
Will you take me there? I want to meet with her directly and ask her what's
それ
happening.
はいいけどトールなんか怒ってない
Well, I'm not happy. Geez, why has even Hirasaka gotten involved in this? I'd been holding back in front of Saki and Club Prez, but seeing as Alice was the only one watching, I let my guard down. I just don't understand. Why are the people around me gradually getting involved in my dreams? Plus, they get shown nightmares as a bonus, and their private lives are revealed to others. I can't stand being
ト
responsible
ー
for
ルの
that.
せいかっていうとそうとは思わないんだけどまこの状況をなんとかしたいってことね
Yeah, pretty much. Being irritated and taking it out on someone wasn't going to solve anything. In the end, this was something that I had to do for myself.
よし事情はよくわかんないけどとりあえず稽古のとこに行けばいいのね
I think that would be a good place to start. Alice drank the last of her tea, stood up, and searched through her pocket. She pulled out an old-fashioned key. A key?
そうこれで他の夢に行くことができるのよまあ必ずうまくいくわけじゃないんだけど
It's the key of Yenis. The door we came in through were locked. The doors we came in through were locked like always, but Alice had a key that could apparently open them. Why didn't you tell me we could get out of here? Oh yeah, I talked about that with Club Prez recently.
起きられるわけじゃないし他の夢ってぐちゃぐちゃじゃない失敗することも当然ある
Yeah, I mean, as much as I hate to say this room is kind of a safe room, I mean, stuff still happens here, but it's definitely safer than other things that are less predictable.
だったら ここでお茶飲んでた方が楽でしょ。
I agree. What Alice was saying was correct, but for some reason something about it didn't sit right with me.
トールには鍵でここから出られるの前に教えなかったっけ？
I'm not sure. Maybe you did? I recently realized I've been forgetting some things in my dreams lately. Maybe I'm starting to forget my dreams too.
それもそっか。忘れちゃってても夢のことなんて気づかないしね。それじゃ行ってみますか。
That's the thing I'm worried about, though. With dreams seeping into reality, I don't notice things. Especially if I'm not remembering my dreams, I'm not going to notice it in reality either. After peering into the keyhole beneath the doorknob, Alice promptly inserted the key into it. The door is unlocked easily.
手繋いでて。バラバラになっちゃうかもしれないから。
What'll happen if we get separated?
そう。だけど、一人より二人の方が何があってもなんとかできるでしょ。
I suppose. She held out her hand and I somewhat hesitantly took it.
トール、手繋ぐの慣れてないね。さきちゃんとかとしないの？
No. Alice gave an unpleasant smile as she intertwined her fingers with mine. Ah, hey?
照れない照れない。いや、照れてるトールのが面白いかも。そんじゃ、出発！
I like how she's just making a day trip out of it. She's like, oh, I've been sitting in here so bored. With high spirits, Alice stepped into the darkness beyond the doors where nothing could be seen. What? I tumbled down past the doors as I was pulled in. Far above us, I heard the click of the doors closing. He never once looked at me. Why did others praise him when he was so cold to me and my mother? Why wouldn't anyone see me as more than just his child, and why would they always talk like this was a good thing? He never showed any warmth. My mother couldn't bear it, so she left him. Why didn't she take me with her? Okay, interesting. So that had to do with Hirasaka's father. The mother left. Okay, I was kind of wondering about her, because I don't think she had mentioned her. Interesting. Interrupted the voice we heard and snapped my fingers. Just then, the world that had been floating around us broke apart and disappeared, and we fell through the darkness upside down again. Ah, it's been a while, Maya. It's been a while since we've seen you. What have you been up to? Clearly a lot, because there's a lot of shit going down. Sure enough, Maya was floating in front of us, facing Alice and me as we fell.
今の、マイヤ、あんたがいるってことは、やっぱり稽古に何かしたの？ええ、したわ。幸せな望みを叶えてあげただけだけどね。
She glanced at us.
それでも手なんて繋いじゃって焼けちゃうわ。
Maya, take us to Hirasaka. I ignored Maya's nonsense.
どうして？あの子は今の状況に納得してるのよ。ほら。
Ah, the bright red rose. Don't really like that. Red paint dripped from the petals, and they were hardly any soft. There were hardly any white spots left. Where did I get soft? That's not even. I swear, my brain. It doesn't matter. I just want to talk to Hirasaka.
だったらきちんと手順を踏んでもらわないと今まで通りにね。
I don't know. I mean, we have the power to just kind of snap and make things happen. Can we just ignore her rules and just do things our own way? Maya giggled mockingly and threw away the rose. The petals scattered as the scent of roasted honey enveloped us.
さて、あの子が納得しているのはどんな幸せな悪いお話なのかしら。
I feel like that's an oxymoron. Happy nightmare. Maya snapped her fingers. The world spun around. Ah, so she's snapping too, huh? We're just gonna have a snap war. We were in front of the station. Hirasaka didn't have her guitar, nor was she singing. She was just walking home with a friend. I said that's enough. I snapped my fingers. Oh, wow. Okay, we're just, like, changing things. Also, I love how they do this effect. I think that's so cool, because if you really look at each individual square, you could really tell that it's what was there before. Like, it's not just, like, some pre-generated thing. It's actually, like, the scene. That's really cool how they did that. The world broke apart and we continued falling through the darkness. Pieces of the world scattered and fell, and in the fragments I could see Hirasaka looked happy. I smelled a strong, sweet scent, but Maya wasn't there.
ダメトール、そんな無茶したら
Alice squeezed down on the hand that held my own. What do you mean reckless?
夢の世界をバラバラになんてしてそんなの無茶に決まってるでしょ
Then what? You're telling me to watch another sick nightmare, which will dig into Hirasaka's heart. Was she saying I had to watch someone else's
そうじゃ
nightmare?
ないそうじゃないけどだけどあんなやり方してたらトールが夢に近くなっちゃう
Closer to the dream. You're not making any
わ
sense.
からない自分がどれだけ危ないことをしてるのかトールは起きたいんでしょこっちにずっといたくないんでしょだけど夢を好き勝手にすればそれだけトール自身がこっちに近くなっちゃうの
So the more we alter it, she's saying that we get much closer, so the more enveloped into the dream we are. The more we become a part of it? Is that necessarily what I could translate that into?
それが当たり前なんかになったら二度と目を覚ませなくなってもおかしくないんだから
That's just what you believe. I've had enough of nightmares. I'll wake up even if I have to destroy the dream completely. To destroy a dream was to deny it. The idea that I would get closer to the dream that way wasn't something I could intuitively understand. Then it was okay. If I thought that, then I'd be able to make it so in the dream. Besides, associating with Maya in that nightmare would be a greater obstacle to waking up. I'm just trying to think of really what Alice is trying to convey here. So we're talking about the more we alter a dream, the more we become a part of the dream. So I'm trying to understand what's the flaw in his logic there. So he's talking about being aware that it's a dream, you know, and changing it, then he should be able to wake up from it, right? Like, he's denying the dream. He shouldn't become a part of the dream or closer to it because he knows it's a dream, and he's saying that he doesn't want to be a part of it.
だけど無理はダメよ
I could tell she was worried by the way she squeezed my hand. I couldn't say that I wouldn't be reckless in the way Alice meant. Why had Hirasaka gotten involved in this? When Saki had gotten involved, I had thought Maya dragged her in. I'd been half expecting it from the time Maya appeared. The club press got involved too. She was friends with Saki and me, but she had nothing to do with Maya. On top of that, now Hirasaka, who had barely had anything to do with any of us, had gotten involved. I couldn't allow the number of people coming here to increase anymore, and I couldn't abandon any of them. Because at a time when it wouldn't have been strange for me to be abandoned, Saki had called me back. There's no way I could get someone involved and then abandon them.
どうしたの
It's nothing, Alice. How do we get to where Hirasaka is?
これからもあの子の夢を追いかけていくからその先に行けば会えると思うけど
Okay, so I'm sorry to keep using Inception. I apologize if you guys have not watched Inception. Please go watch Inception. You'll get a lot more of my references. So I'm kind of thinking of Inception. So the idea of Inception is a dream within a dream. Okay? Now that's kind of interesting, an interesting idea. You're really just, to put it in terms of this game, going down the rabbit hole doing that. I wonder if that's what's happening. So we're breaking a dream, we're going like further into the dream to a point where we can't get out, where even though we think we're out of a dream, so let's say we're in a second layer of a dream, we break that dream, we're like, okay, we're in a dream, and then we break that and we get out, we go back just like up another layer. We're not back to reality, we're not awake yet. And what if we think we're awake? I wonder if that's kind of what they're getting at. I'm just trying to use Inception to kind of make sense of it. So after a certain point, you're so far into the dream, you start losing track of what's reality and what's not. Got it, lead the way.
分かった
Alice looked down and nodded. I knew she was worried about me, but I couldn't stand going along with the dream any further. Alice pulled my hand as we fell into the darkness. Though we were falling, I again felt the illusion of things falling from above us. But unlike Club Prez's time, there weren't many things flying at me, and they would disappear without a trace before they hit me. No, I was erasing them. There was another scene unfolding. Keiko was alone. There were a lot of people around here, but no one was talking to her. They were talking to someone through her. She was alone. No one there was looking at her. So Keiko didn't respond to anyone. We don't need that. I snapped my fingers and this world too crumbled into nothingness. But if we go back to Yayoi, Yayoi was having dreams of things that actually happened to her. She was reliving memories, essentially. I'm just afraid if we just kind of destroy things recklessly, like Alice was warning us about, we're going to destroy memories. We're going to destroy things that defined who she is as a person. And if we get rid of who she is as a person, what does she have left? She's going to lose a lot of experience. And that's the tough thing. Like, we go through a lot of shit in life, right? I think most people would say that they've dealt with some things that they wish they never would have had to and never would have wished for somebody else to go through. They felt things that made them feel absolutely alone and absolutely miserable and want to end their life, or, you know, just to not continue going on. Maybe they wished that they would have, you know, like fallen asleep and never waken up. Kind of similar to maybe how they're feeling right now. And they actually have the opportunity to go through with that. So I feel like erasing some of those things, as much as they hurt, at the same time, that's helped define who you are as a person. And I feel like just getting rid of that suddenly would be to really erase their identity. Just then I smelled the sweet scent of those nightmare flowers. I don't intend on peeping in on anyone's trauma anymore. I think Alice is really trying to warn him that he doesn't know the consequences of what he's doing right now. I think that's what's going to end up happening here. The scene changed and the next dream began. A group of people were chatting at some kind of party. The people unanimously praised Keiko's father. He's an amazing man. He saved us. You should follow his example. What a commendable father you have. But... is it amazing to not notice your family? Is it amazing to not love anything? Younger Keiko's sense of values crumbled away. There was no one she could talk to. All her mother would do was smile weakly. She didn't have any friends either. The girl's parents are a big deal, so we would be in trouble if something happened. The way it was said varied, but that was basically what it meant. And so... she understood it on a logical level, and she understood why people would call that a good thing, that there were too many right things around Keiko. We don't need that either. I'm just wondering if, like I said, if he's really erasing memories here, or if he's destroying everything that's built her up to the person she is. I don't know. I worry about doing that to somebody. The sweet smell filled the air and made me dizzy. I had no intention of peeping on Hirasaka's secrets, and yet it was taking longer and longer for me to be able to stop these scenes. Definitely taking its toll. It wasn't that my head hurt or that I was tired. The nightmare spell was just gradually getting stronger. Not caring about my plight, the next scene began. I also worry about him destroying all of these things that hurt her, because it's going to make her feel more comfortable in a situation where she has everything and that she's happy. If she loses all the things that reminded her of how harsh reality is, her life is going to feel like a dream. It is going to feel like it's always been this bright and happy thing. She's going to really fall straight into the place where the dream is laying her to be, is setting her up. I think that might be... I just thought about that. That might be where Alice is trying to warn us that we might go. We can't get rid of all the things that put us back into reality. Not caring about my plight, the next scene began. Keiko got used to being alone. She had also been forced to learn that there were many right things in the world. No matter what she thought, the world around her continued. It's just a matter of her environment not being normal. When she realized that, she stopped caring about anything. If only she had been able to emotionally oppose it, but she didn't even feel like doing that anymore. With that murmur, she shouldered her guitar case and started walking. What good does it do to know this? I thought pretending not to see it was irresponsible and cold, but but at the same time, I didn't feel like proactively stepping in. People couldn't stand it when others intruded on their past with cheap sympathy. At least I wouldn't be able to stand it. I guess maybe what he's trying to say here is that, like, some people just kind of listen to your problems and listen to your past events and just kind of give you sympathy, like, oh, I'm so sorry you had to go through all that, you know? It's just kind of lip service. That's the word I'm looking for, lip service. Where it doesn't really mean anything. It's really just cheap sympathy. It's just like, oh, okay, you know, I'm just acknowledging that you said something sad, you know, that's the response and I have to give as another human being, right? It's not really that you care or that you're really... that it even really matters to you. I wanted to hurry and wipe this scene away. As I was being shown it, I tried to snap my fingers. Next thing I knew, I couldn't feel Alice's hand. The sweet nightmare smell was all around me. What part of this is a happy dream?
だってケイコは今幸せな夢を見続けているんだもの。
I was so disoriented that I couldn't tell up from down. Next to me, Maya appeared with her hand on her
勝
cheek.
手にケイコの夢に踏み込んできたのはそっちじゃない。私が見せたわけじゃないわ。だけどもしかしたらアリスが、なんでもないわ。
Maya, what did you do to Hirasaka? She seemed to know something about Alice, but Hirasaka was more important right now.
あの子が望む通りにしただけよ。だって疲れたって言うんだもの。だから夢を見せてあげてるの。あの子が思ういい子の夢を。代わりがいれば自分は疲れないし、その方がきっと周りのみんなも幸せになれるでしょ。
This is what I talked about, where if you like take so much away from somebody all at once and it's not a gradual change, it's like it's not even them. And it isn't her. It's a replacement for her. Even so, why are you doing this?
なんで？何がかしら。言ったでしょ。私にできるのは夢を見せてあげることだけ。それ以上は何もできないわ。
Then why is Hirasaka acting that way in the waking world, even though she's dreaming?
それは心当たりがあるんじゃないの？
What are you talking
さ
about?
きちゃんに助けられて忘れちゃった？それとも気づかないふりをしたかっただけかしら。
I definitely feel like we pretend not to notice a lot of things.
自分だって同じことをしていたくせに。
Stop it, that was...
私は何だって知ってるわ。だって一番そばで見ていたもの。
That was
自
because...
分だってそうだったくせに、一体何をどうするつもりなのかしら。
You're an idiot, Maya, and you know me, yet you don't understand anything.
どういう意味かしら。
The first time since I had come here, Maya showed not just her usual smile, but a look of curiosity. You just said it yourself, I was saved by Saki. So what's wrong if I, in turn, go to save Hirasaka? Who's in the same situation? It was true that I had been saved by Saki. I'd never forgotten that. Then there was no reason that it would be wrong for me to save someone, when I had been saved myself.
そういう夢を選ぶのね。
Maya giggled mockingly. She still looked like she was having fun.
なら行ってらっしゃい。けどさきちゃんみたいにうまく助けられるかしら。
It's kind of like the quote, if, you know, because I have been given much, I too must give. I feel like that's, you know, it's kind of like a big superhero type thing, you know, like, because I've been given these powers, I need to go out and save people. And because Saki has saved him before, he needs to be the one that follows that example. He knows that there's precedent for it, you know, that it's possible to do. And so he's going to save her in return.
それともまた妹が増えちゃうのかしら。ねえ。
Oh, please, no more little sisters. Maya's voice grew distant, that sweet smell grew stronger and closed in around me. The invisible smell entered my nose and mouth as though it had a shape and as though giving into sleepiness. I lost consciousness. Oh, this has certainly been quite the twist. Twang twang. We'll go to the sound of guitar. I heard they sat up and saw that I'd been lying on a bench in front of the
先輩
station.
目を覚ましたんですね。
Hirasaka was there holding her guitar but not looking at me. But when I thought of the position I'd been in and the fact that she was right next to me, I must have been using her lap as a pillow. Yeah, this place is... As far as I could tell, this was the area Hirasaka had been singing in before. But there's no one else around, just stream flowers blooming here and there.
それでこんなところまで何の用ですか？
I want to take a second to look at this real quick. It's really sweet. I always like seeing her playing the guitar. I think it's the one time when she like kind of has some inner peace. Like she's not necessarily completely happy, but it just seems like she's kind of in her own world and not necessarily like a dream or anything, but she's just content with herself. And I guess we don't really get to see this a whole lot. I can take you back even if I have to do it by force.
その必要ないです。
Not looking at me, Hirasaka tampered with her guitar. Why not?
このままでも問題ないからです。
She strummed the guitar once loudly. No, they aren't. What are you gonna
ここ
do?
でぼーっとしてます。誰もいませんけど、わざわざ無視する相手もいなくなるから、むしろ居心地がいいです。
Yeah. Like I said, she seems to be kind of content in her own world with her guitar. Hirasaka dangled her legs off of her seat next to me. Hey, that can't be
どう
true.
してですか？
Hirasaka still don't look me in
先
the
輩
eye.
が私の今までのことを適当に見てきたのは気づいてるんです。その先輩がどうして私をわざわざ連れ戻そうとするのかがわかりません。
Because I don't think that the past has to define your future. It's what it is. I think you... Well, and I've kind of gone over this a little bit in the video. I think you can have a shitty past and you can try to make things better and change them going forward. And I think that's like why a lot of people have kids too. Interestingly enough, I've met a lot of parents who have had pretty difficult pasts, like abuse or financial troubles, you know, and having to live in poverty. They've had a lot of things that would make you think, why would they ever want to have a kid? If they suffered so much, if they hated the world in such a way, why would they want to bring somebody in just to have them suffer the same thing? And I think it's the idea of knowing that and having that compassion, having that understanding of, you know, difficult things and things that other people have had to deal with and things you've had to deal with. Trying to instill that in the next generation, I think, is an important thing for a lot of people. I think, like, having a kid of your own, and, you know, I'm a father, so I kind of understand that. And I've had times in my life where I wanted to die, and I didn't think that this life was fair, and I still do. I still do to this day. I have moments where I'm like, this is totally unfair, and why am I getting punished for this and that? And I try to be a good person, you know, and life just has its own idea of what's gonna happen. You know, you have shit that happens, but I think I want to instill in my daughter, like, I guess just all the things I wish I would have known. I think that's probably where it comes down to. There's a lot of stuff I've learned in life that could have helped me in those times when life was hard, or that I wish I could have had more power to control something and help her get through those when I feel like I couldn't have. I know a lot more about like depression and things like that, and a lot of like health conditions we have in our family that I have and that other family members have, and I can be more of a warning and more of a, I don't know, I can be the parent that I wish I needed. The parent that I wished for. Let's say it that way. I needed somebody who could have been there and told me certain things, and I'm gonna try to be that parent for my child. It's essentially like a second chance, and you could say that's selfish. You could say that I'm doing that for me, right? But I don't know. I as a parent would want my child to be happy, and I've suffered a lot, and I hope that I've suffered a lot so that my child, or maybe even somebody else out there, can hear my experience and my view on it, and maybe get some comfort from that, and maybe help them to have a better life. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully somebody gets something out of something I just said. Let's go with that. I'll stop ranting. Because nothing good will come out of you staying in a dream.
同じ何もならないならこっちにいた方がマシです。
Ah, shit, I gotta say more. I'm sorry. Like, this makes me want to bring up more points. That's an interesting idea. Staying in a dream would be preferable because nothing good comes out of being awake. I think we have people that live in dreams at this very moment today now. Not necessarily that you're necessarily living in a dream that's this vivid and this, you know, I think people use things that are coping mechanisms, and that's their way of going into a dream. That's their way of escaping reality, right? I think I heard a lot about growing up that there were so many people against video games because they're a way of escaping reality. And once you start playing them so much, once you start enjoying them to the point where all you want to do is video games, where you want to just do that all day, and where you become addicted, you know, I think that's your way of being in a dream, escaping reality. And a lot of people prefer that because nothing good comes out of being awake either. Nothing good comes out of trying and, you know, being a functioning human being for some people. I don't know. I definitely noticed that more as I was younger and less experienced. Like I said, I think a lot of the bad experiences I've had, and that probably Hirasaka's had as well, are experiences that will help define you as you become older and as you become an adult, as you try to instill better values and all the knowledge and experience you've had in your kid, or maybe just somebody that you have some influence over. Like maybe a good friend, maybe a family member, maybe someone you just passed by. I don't know. I've had the experience of working with a lot of like teenagers, and I always tell them life gets better as an adult. I really promise it does. There's a lot of shit that happens, and you still experience shit as you become an adult too. Like, don't get me wrong, like it doesn't necessarily always get easier, but I think there's a lot more enjoyable things you can do as an adult. You get more freedom, and you have more opportunities. I think sometimes as a teenager, when you're still developing, your brain's still growing, you're still growing, you're still learning, right? Like, it's a time to really make mistakes and try to learn from those. I think it can feel like the end of the world. It can feel like it's going to be so hard to recover from that. And I think adults feel that sometimes too, but especially teenagers, and I'm speaking from experience. I very much felt that way. I felt like I did things or had things happen to me that would forever change me, and I'd never be able to come back from that. And I've seen that you can. I'll leave it at that. Intermittently, Hirasaka plucked the guitar without really playing anything.
頑張ったわけでもないですけど疲れました。だからもういいです。
And shit, I felt like that as an adult sometimes. I've tried and tried, or maybe I haven't tried too much, but I get tired to the point where I don't want to try. You know? And it's hard to know what to do. It's giving up, I don't think, is the answer by any means.
あの子に聞きました。先輩だって一度起きるのが嫌になったことがあるんでしょ。
Just then my vision went black.
すみません。それ以上は言いませんし、どうなったかも聞いてません。だけど、だから放っておいてください。私は別にこれでいいんです。
Yeah, and sometimes you have to give people space. Sometimes people need to be at their lowest moment to realize that they don't enjoy being here more than they do other things. You know, sometimes you think you want to punish yourself and you want to be alone, and you think that's what's going to help you become a better person and make you happy, and you have to realize that it's just not. Being at your lowest point is never going to feel good. It's never going to help you to feel happy. You're gonna have to move on from that. You're gonna have to put a little bit of effort in sometimes in life. That's just how it is. You can't just go through life just being so carefree that you're just not willing to to try to branch out and try to change, try to become better, and try to learn, you know? Unfortunately, it's just a part of life, and you need to do that. The people that I've seen that try to reject that and try to just be okay with who they are at this current moment, and they don't try to experience anything new, they don't try to be more fulfilled, I guess, in some way, they're never happy. They always seem like there's something wrong with the world, and they always feel like it's somebody else's fault for what's happening to them, when it's in reality, you know, their own responsibility, their own decision to stay this way, and to say, you know, I'm not happy, but I'm gonna stay here, and I'm just gonna complain about it instead of changing something. I'm just gonna say I know some people like that. Before I realized it, I had grabbed Hirasaka's hand.
なんですか?
You idiot, don't say that so lightly.
話してください.
Regardless if you're tired or if you're actually fine with this, all you're doing is acting spoiled and running away. There's no way you'll be saved like that. If you're that tired, if you hate the world, then just die on your own. Don't run away into a dream. I don't know about telling her just to die on her own. I mean, that's pretty harsh, but some people need to be told something like that so directly, like so in their face, you know? Some people need really harsh reality to get them out. Okay, I want to keep hearing what he's going to say. I'm sorry, I've talked a lot. Just because real life is hard, running into a dream won't change anything. Yes, this is amen. Just because your life's hard doesn't mean you should go looking for coping mechanisms. It doesn't mean you should just, oh, I hate my life, so I'm just going to play video games all day. That won't change it. That won't help you feel happy. You're just ignoring the problem instead of fixing it. Now, if you, like, just don't use a coping mechanism and you really face the problem head on, is that going to necessarily fix it right away? No. But you got to keep trying. You got to find what works for you. And I've had to learn that the hard way. Growing up, I really tried to be one way, and as I'm getting older, I'm realizing, oh, I needed to just change what I was doing. I need to change my way of thinking. I need to do things that I feel uncomfortable with sometimes, because that's how you get comfortable with them. That's how you get over things. That's how you learn and apply the experiences you have. In fact, it's only going to make things worse and worse. What did you think would happen? How can you hope to fix things when you're running away? Yes. Preach. Did you even try to make things better? Did you think you wouldn't be able to? You were running away the whole time. Don't be such a spoiled brat. Hirasaka tried to forcefully brush my hand off. I understand how it feels to want to run away into a dream. Just as you said, I ran away once myself. And this is what he's saying, okay? He's not trying to just make her feel bad about herself. He's saying, from personal experience, I ran away into a dream and it did not help me. It made me feel worse, and now I've come back out of it, and I'm trying to save you from having the same thing happen to you. This is what you should do as a good friend. This is what you should do as a parent. Try to prevent people from making the same mistakes you did. Now, you have to let them have their own experiences. Sometimes they have to make bad decisions and experience it anyways. But I think as someone who cares, and as someone who's trying to genuinely help other people, you have to at least try to warn them of it, and you have to try to help them through it. Hirasaka trembled at the sound of my voice. Hisaki hadn't saved me that I, without doubt, wouldn't have been able to wake up ever again.
それができるようなら、トールはもっと器用に生きてるわよ。
Yeah, it would be much easier if you had no consciousness and you didn't have to worry about how the other people felt or how your actions affected them. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I think I'm talking so much. I just had a lot to say this video. Really have. Hopefully it's been adding to the experience here. I jumped to the sudden voice. Caprez.
トールもちょっと落ち着きなさい。もう自分が何言いたいかとか、何言ってるかわかんなくなってるんでしょ?
Is this supposed to be for me too, guys? Am I saying too much? Caprez reached out and removed my fingers from Hirasaka's wrist.
あらら、こんなに後つけちゃって。まったく、女の子に何してるのよ。何でも何も不安だから様子見に来たのよ。 そしたらまさかトールが稽古を押し倒そうとしてたから驚いて。あ
I
の
was
まま
doing no such.
そうならなかった？
Interesting. So we're learning a lesson here too. So if all of that being said, between Toru and I, you can't force someone to change. That's the reality. You start using physical force and you lose any credibility you have. You start trying to really force somebody. Sometimes you have to take drastic measures. If you're a parent, maybe sometimes you have to spank your child. Maybe you have to punish them. You have to instill that there is consequences for their actions. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing unless you're taking it too far. If it's happening too often, if you're being too rough, you just can't do that. But I think it's important to show that life is hard and you need to be willing to face that, and you need to instill in your child or maybe in a friend that they need to find ways to deal with those hard things. That's the goal, right, of having gone through hard things and sharing those hard things with other people and saying, yeah, I get kind of what you're going through. I had this happen to me and this is kind of what I did to get out of that, right? That's the idea. When you're forcing something on somebody, they want to reject it. Nobody wants to have something forced on them. But I think sharing at the right time and in, giving them the option to choose if that information is helpful to them, if that's something they want to try, I think is way more effective than force. I couldn't guarantee that I wouldn't have. What was I saying to Hirasaka? What was I trying to do? Hirasaka was looking at us surprised. She seemed unable to follow what was going on.
そうそう。私はトールとは違って別に稽古を無理やり連れ戻す気はないから。
But Prez, why did you come here for?
なんでって。
What did you come here for?
だって私この子嫌いだもの。
She said matter-of-factly. She said it so naturally that at first I couldn't understand the meaning. Eh?
アリスに連れてきてもらったのよ。ま、その時にトールたちの通ってきた道を後から通ってきたから大体の事情は分かってるんだけど。
Where did
マ
Alice
イヤが
go?
邪魔しようとしたから追いかけ回してどっか行っちゃったけど。ま、それはそれとして。
Sorry, I'm just imagining Alice just chasing Maya, going, "Get back here, Maya!" She gave a cynical smile.
ご自慢する気もないし、稽古は稽古で辛かったのも認めるけど、それがどうしたのよ。
一体何が言いたいんですか？
言ったままの意味よ。現実が辛いから夢に引きこもりますって。単なる負け犬じゃない。
They're going a very bold route here. Maybe more bold than I would be. I'd have to be really comfortable with somebody and feel like I've tried some other things before I'd ever go like this direct. Like, I don't know. This is very straight. And some people, like I said, need to have it this way. Some people respond better to hearing harsh truths, okay? If you want to agree with me that this might be somewhat of a truth. I don't know. I don't necessarily like calling people a loser. I'll call myself a loser if I feel like I'm being one. And I have certainly in the past been a loser. But I have a hard time calling someone else a loser. I mean, I'd have to really think that would help them and get them into a better state of mind to want to call them a loser. Because I think that would be really harsh.
正しいこととか、建前とか、下心とか。子供じゃないんだからもう分かってるんでしょ？
I mean, I would argue she still is pretty young in a way. She's still learning a lot of those things.
なのに勝手に諦めて、今のうちからおしまいですって？ふん、そうなんだ。ま、別にいいけど、負け犬も甘ったれも好きじゃないから、ここでどうなろうと。
I do think she's coming from a good place, though. I think she's saying harsh things because she really wants to get her to react to it and try to realize maybe that she could make some changes. She could make some changes and maybe she would see some results from those. Grabbed my hand and pulled me away from Hirasaka.
トールはお気に入りだから連れて帰るわ。それじゃあね。
Hey, Club Prez, do you know what it will mean for her to run away into a dream?
一緒。あの気持ち悪いヘラヘラした笑い方した稽古とその取り巻きが残るってことでしょ。そのくらい別にいいじゃない。20年近くせっかく理不尽に耐えてきたのに、稽古がそれでおしまいでいいって言うならそれでいいんでしょ。
She's 20? Are we supposed to be in college? What? Is Yayoi... Can I still defend Yayoi here? Can I still say that I think she's coming from the right place? That she's saying harsh things that she really maybe doesn't buy into or doesn't mean? Like I said, I don't want to feed into somebody who's maybe feeling like they're ending things. Because, so, when I read about someone saying they want to end things, I'm thinking they want to, like, end their life. Okay, that's where I go. I understand that maybe this is a different situation because she's talking about just going into a dream, right? But in a way, you're essentially like ending your life. You're ending that person that you are in reality. So I don't necessarily agree with saying why don't we let her? Like just saying, you know, whatever, if that's what she wants to do. I don't know. Morally, I can't agree with that. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't as good of friends with him as we've gotten older. But, you know, I did try to help him when he did come to me with having a deeper problem. He came to me with something that he really hadn't told many people, if at all. And I really tried to comfort him and validate him as a person. And this past year, he committed suicide. So I know there's a lot of people out there who suffer, and a lot of people that go through some hard shit, and I've gone through some hard shit, so I get it. I don't ever agree with saying that somebody should just end it, you know? I'm speaking from experiences I've had. It's a sad thing, even though he was suffering, and maybe in a way I'm glad that he's potentially out of that suffering. I just think that there's so many other options. There's so many things you could do, and there's people that cared about him, right? And I wish, you know, he would have turned more to those people and maybe embraced that more than he did, because I know his family cared about him a lot. Lopez forcefully tried to lead me away, but Hirasaka murmured something from behind us.
私は私よ。あと稽古、あなた噛みつく相手間違ってるでしょ。
Lopez nonchalantly threw me aside and folded her arms.
一人でメソメソ泣いて、その挙句、安易な道ばっか選んで、最後はそそのかされて引きこもり？見苦しいったらないわね。
I think what Yayoi's trying to get at here is she's saying you cry by yourself, choose nothing but easy paths, and in the end you give into temptation to shut yourself in. So you've chosen the easy way, and now you're suffering the consequences from it. You've chosen not to put in more effort. You've chosen just to let things happen to you and choose to be a victim. And you haven't chose to fight back against anything. You haven't chose to help yourself at all. And I think she's trying to say that from a sense of making her realize maybe if you put some more effort in, you can fix some of these problems. You can fix how you feel about your father not being enough and not helping you in the ways that you needed. He wasn't providing for you emotionally, maybe, and maybe, you know, maybe physically at times wasn't providing for you. He didn't provide for your mother who left, and, you know, I don't know. I guess just there's options. There's things that she can do if she's willing to, you know, to stop sulking and all these problems and just stop complaining about them and try to put yourself in a better situation. Even if it's mentally, even if you can't change your living situation, maybe you can change how you approach it. I think she's really trying to get her to recognize that. But Prez seemed to be irritated with something more than just protesting Hirasaka. I see. I might have the wrong idea, but the details might be different, but...
そんなんじゃ何も変わんないでしょ。ヘラヘラ笑って受け流すくらいしなさいよ。
Nothing will change with that. At least with them with a stupid laugh.
さっきはそんなの気持ち悪いって言ったくせに何を自分勝手な。だいたいヘラヘラいつも笑ってるのは先輩じゃないですか。あなたこそ気持ち悪い。
Yeah, laughing is interesting because I think some people laugh to show that they're above something. They laugh to, I don't know, puff themselves up, I guess. Not necessarily puff themselves up in pride, but to boost their own confidence. Maybe by making light of a situation, they can feel more confident about approaching it. But some people, I think, laugh as a coping mechanism. They laugh because maybe they're not sure what to say. Maybe they laugh because they just feel so helpless. Interesting.
その気持ち悪いこともできなくて友達もいないお嬢様はどこの誰よ。一人ぼっちのひがみかしら。
友達なんてできなくていいんです。付き合いなんて面倒なだけなんですから。
It is, but the reality is that everybody needs somebody. And I'm just gonna say that. I'm not gonna go into a big speech about it. But human beings are social creatures. You came from another living being. Everybody at some point needed somebody. You will never be so strong or so independent that you won't need another human being. There's the reason why people start families. It's the reason why people live in towns and in cities. You know, everybody needs somebody. You know, whether you need food or shelter. You know, everything you have around you is because of somebody. And it's hard associating with people. There's a lot of people that I don't like dealing with, and you know, you kind of have to at some point. You know, people are providing things for you, and you're providing things hopefully for other people. That's what a good member of society would do, right? It can be a pain. The people that are closest to you are also the people that can hurt you the most, right? I get that.
そんなこと言って、トールには随分懐いてたみたいだけど。
それは。
トールだって今さら妹の一人や二人増えても構わないわよね。
No, I've got my hands full with just two. Actually, I can't even deal with them by themselves.
二人?
No, it's nothing. Oh, interesting. He hasn't really pointed out that Maya's like a little sister to him. No, it's nothing. More importantly, Club Prez did you really come here just to take me back?
何よ。そうだって言ってるでしょ?
I mean, I think that's just one of the reasons, but I was just wondering if that was all. That person, it would be hard to call her a good person after seeing her exchange with Hirasaka just now. However, it was probably true that she had come to check up on us, but I doubt that was her only objective. Club Prez folded her arms.
悲劇のヒロイン気取ってるお嬢様も嫌いだけど、外をうろついてる猫かぶってる方がもっと気持ち悪かったのよ。
You know what they call that?
同族嫌悪。違った？あ、いやだ、今のなしなし。
I'm so glad she said that, because I had a feeling that she was projecting her own insecurities. She was looking at Hirasaka and pointing out all these things about her because she knows what that's like. She knows that she does the same thing, and who better to know somebody than someone who does something the same? If you're a selfish person will recognize a selfish person, right? You know, a lot of people say it takes one to know one. And I think that's what she was getting at. She said, I know all this stuff about you because I do the same thing and I recognize it in you. And maybe she said all that shit, even though it was hurtful, and could have made things worse because maybe that's what she needed to hear. Maybe that's what she wanted someone to tell her. And we know that she has a lot of shit in her past too about feeling alone, Excuse me. And I think this is perfect. I think these two are actually like so good to be friends because they share a lot of bad experiences. And I think this is great. Okay, now I really like that we kind of got a glimpse into that. Like, oh, seeing your own flaws in other people. Exactly. I was thinking tsundere, but Club Press's words fit better. Oh my gosh. Toru. Toru. Alright. Can we end this scene here? Can this just like wrap up right here? Because I think that's like cut. Perfect. I had seen Club Rez's past selves recently. Among them, there were some award expressions similar to Hirasaka's. In other words, she was right. Club Rez scratched her head awkwardly. I think that's so great that we just had like this strong emotional scene, and then I got to laugh. Like there's something that made me laugh here at the end.
勝手に自滅するのは構わないけど、それが誰かのせいっていうのはやっぱり気に食わないの。
気に食わないって。
Such good lines. Oh my gosh.
だって結構あなた選んでないじゃない。
Those words were aimed at Hirasaka, but I felt as though they'd been directed at me.
向かい合いなさいよ、負け犬。人に与えられて、それでいいやって逃げてるの見ると、虫唾が走るわ。あの子にそそのかされてじゃないんだったら、こんな中途半端なとこにいないで、もっと楽しい夢に浸ってなさいよ。
Perez giggled with a malicious expression.
優しいお父様と、自分にだだ甘いトールでも左右にはべらせて、素敵なラブソングでも歌ってればいいじゃない。
Sharp, dry crack rang out. Hirasaka had slapped Club Prez. Her face was red and her eyes were full of tears. You know, because you've been hurting yourself for too long, and people are sick of seeing that happen. They want better for you. They want you to be happier.
その程度も自分で選んでないくせに、与えられただけでしょ。
Yeah, and that's the reality. She didn't choose to have a terrible father. She didn't choose to feel this way, and nobody's saying that she did. But, you know, you can choose what you do after that. You can choose if you're willing to accept help from those who care about you around you. Or sometimes you might have to change yourself before you'll allow other people in your life. That's the reality, is a lot of people don't want to let other people in. They have people like this that try to help them and deeply care about them as friends, but they don't want to let anybody into their lives. They put up walls and they're afraid. And, you know, your situation is what caused you to be like that. But at some point, you have to let your guard down a little bit. Or somebody has to be so good at articulating how you feel and how they can comfort you. To let you feel comfortable enough to let down your walls. Hirasaka, her eyes red, had no words to respond to Club Prez. Club Prez's gaze was colder than hers.
私はトール連れて帰るから。それじゃ、今度こそ行くわよ。
Wait, that's... Club Prez ignored me and started walking. Hirasaka glared at her spitefully. The Club Prez gave a final cynical smile.
それで満足なんでしょ？散々バカにされても、それがいいなら、もう誰が何を言っても無駄でしょ？
Hirasaka wiped the tears from her eyes with her sleeve. She put her guitar in its case and picked it up before following after Club Prez.
気が変わった。こんなとこじゃなくて、現実でぶん殴ってやる。うん。見返してやる。散々バカにして。
Or everything that just happened would just piss her so much off that her reason to live is just because she wants to torment her now for pissing her off so much. Didn't get anything out of this deep conversation. Hirasaka looked away from the still grinning Club Prez with a humph.
何してるのトール？あら、もしかしてトールの方が夢から出たくないの？
What was she saying? In the end, she, who was always pretending to be bad, was too nurturing for her own good.
そうか、 さきちゃんとか私とか左右にはべらせてハーレムとか作る気？うわー。
Oh, right. I wasn't thinking it before, but let's do it. No, if that was my intent, I'd make the effort when I was awake, not in a dream. Oh, okay. I didn't follow after them as they walked away.
先輩、どうしたんですか？
Hirasaka stopped and looked back at me. I just have something to do before I wake up. I waved at them. Hirasaka just tilted her head, but Club Press grinned. It's not something indecent.
あ、そう。ま、別にいいんだけど。あんま変なことはしちゃダメよ。さきちゃんが向こうでお留守番してるんだから。
I'm fine. I'll definitely come back.
それは起きた後にさきちゃんにきちんと言ってあげなさい。
Maybe Club Press realized what I was gonna do, or maybe she was just being
だけ
considerate.
ど先輩、やだちょっと、触らないでください。
Club Press grabbed Hirasaka's hand and forcefully pulled her
いい
along.
から行くわよ。あっちは男の子のデリケートな秘密だから、あんまり気にしちゃダメなの。
When you say guy time, that sounds indecent. Although she was singing in a way that would probably cause a misunderstanding, I was grateful to Club Press for leading Hirasaka away. The two of them disappeared from here. I didn't know how much Club Press had realized what I was trying to do, but I was glad that she didn't. Or I was glad that she had left things to me. Naya, you were watching, weren't you?
あら、気づいてたの？バレないようにしていたつもりなのに。
To be fair, you did say you're always watching. Maya appeared, oozing out of the air without a sound. Once she appeared, it looked like she had been there the whole time. It's not that I noticed you, I just thought there was no way you'd miss seeing a scene like this.
そういうこと。理解されてるのって嬉しいわ。
Of course I do. It's you after all.
私もわかるわ。だって大事な相手のことですもの。
I giggled gleefully. Then you know what I'm thinking right now.
ええ、わかってるわ。自分一人でどうにかこの夢を根本から終わらせようとしてるのよね。みんなを巻き込んでしまったから、これ以上巻き込みたくないから、迷惑はかけられないから。ほんとけなげなんだから。
But like in days past, those plants were starting to grow around her.
けど、それも何度目かしら。
What? What does she mean?
あら、その顔からして気づいてないのね。それはよかった。きちんとした甲斐があったわ。
What do you mean
そ
properly?
ろそろ教えてあげてもいいかしら。ねえ、今までにどうしてこうやって一人で決着をつけようって思わなかったの？
Okay, I was waiting to read a little bit more. How many times it's been? Have we forgotten other dreams? Is this not the first? Well, what would this be? Would this be like the third dream? Like third or fourth? But maybe it's not the third or fourth.
何度も思ったはずよ。みんなを巻き込みたくない。俺の責任だ。どうにかしなきゃって。なのにどうして今まで何もしてこなかったのかしら。不思議でしょ。だけどそれには理由があるの。してこなかったわけじゃないの。思ったことを躊躇するような性格じゃないものね。じゃあどうして？
From Maya came the smell of sweet roasted honey, baked pastries, and deep
今まで
forest.
に何度だってこうして来ていたのよ。夢でこうして二人っきり、私に会うたびに自分一人で終わらせようとして。
Okay, if we think about this. So every time there's been a dream, he's tried to end it by himself. This might have been something we've seen, and it might have not been. If we recall, it seems like we always wake up later than everybody else. Like, always, it's always like we're in the dream a little bit longer than everybody else. Like, everything kind of comes to a conclusion, yet here we are in the dream world, trying to maybe wrap up some things before it ends. Maya wrapped the growing plants around her
そ
arms.
の度に何度だって忘れさせられてきたのよ。 失敗したことを覚えているのは辛いものね。思い出せないとしても仕方ないわ。
Basically, I've tried to do this multiple times until now.
だけど全部失敗したの。だってそうじゃなかったら夢も続いてないし、私だってここにはいないもの。
My spine went cold. How could this be? I had challenged Maya many times, and every
だ
time
って夢だもの。ところどころ忘れてしまってる夢だって当然あるわ。たとえ明晰夢を見ることができても、目を覚ましても覚えていられるのは覚えている夢だけ。
they do say there's a lot of dreams that you don't remember. Because, like, if you think about the last time you've dreamt, I mean, you've probably had multiple dreams before that, and maybe even after that if it's been a while.
覚えていない夢はたとえ見たとしても忘れてしまっているものね。
It's true that I did feel strange at times, like when I would find myself thinking about something even though I never experienced it. Is this supposed to be where deja vu comes in? Are we about to start referencing that? And there were even stranger things that weighed on my mind.
ええ、知ってたわ。戸惑ってる様子もとっても楽しかったもの。
She made the flowers around her bloom. The nightmare flowers bloomed around me too. Red, red, flowers painted red which had already been immersed in a
こ
nightmare.
れで終わりかしら。だとしたらとても寂しいわ。
But I want to end things here.
でもね、私はまだ終わりにはならないの。今度も遊んであげるわ、お兄ちゃん。
Don't say that so cutely. For the first time since she started appearing again, Maya called me that with a smile that resembled the red flowers blooming around her. A sneering, playful smile. Hapymaher interlude. Interesting. As soon as Maya snapped her fingers, the world appeared to melt. I'm gonna end it here, even though I really want to keep going because it's been quite long. Quite long. I wonder how long this would be. How long are the interludes? Are they pretty long? We'll end it here because I really want to dive into a little bit about what we just talked about. Like, gosh, this was such a good episode. It really made me think. It really got the brain going. It's a heavy episode though. Oh my gosh, there's some heavy content in here. A lot of thinking, and I'm just like, man, some deep topics. Hopefully, some of y'all got something out of it. And maybe you had some thoughts of your own. You know, you're more than welcome to share those. I do read most of the comments I get. Like I said, I don't respond to most of them, but I do try to read them. Lots of heavy topics though. Gosh, made me really open up about things I don't normally talk about. So that's good, I guess. That's good. I'm glad we're kind of solving things, but it seems like there's something deeper going on here, and I wanna really dive into that more next episode. Interesting conversation with Maya. So this is not the first time we've tried to end the dreams permanently, and it seems like we failed every time. I'm wondering if that's a matter of us not knowing how to, or if that's a matter of resolve. Oops, I didn't mean to further the dialogue, but I am gonna end it here. I really am tempted to just keep going, but I'm gonna stop here. I really want to. If there's a lot more after this, I want to really be able to have the time to dive into that. So, anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. It's quite the heavy one, but it was. I would like to think it was pretty good. I enjoyed it at least, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.